contest set for one fall is for the WWE Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to another edition of Around the Turnbuckle. I'm the big Albowski. That guy is Professor Keith, as always. And hopefully joining us, Keith, is the one and only Hillbilly Joe from Mississippi.
There he is.
What's up, Hillbilly?
What's up?
There he is. Perfect timing because we were worried there. We were having a little technical difficulties, but we got you. And it's nice to see you again. How are things going for you?
I'm doing good. I'm sorry about that. You know, I'm out here, in Buzzer Roost, and I got to adjust these rabbit ears just enough for me to get this internet going. It's kind of hard.
Absolutely. All right. So, Keith,
we get it. I'm actually the high tech one today. I'm actually better tech than Alan right now, which never happens. So it's kind of opposite day here at Around the Turnbuckle.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm at an undisclosed location, Keith. So, I don't have my normal stuff, but I'm making the best of it. As for Hillbilly Joe, we got some comments here, Hillbilly. I got Big Chris Vance saying, "What's up, guys?" I got
Chris.
Colleen Bowling. Hi, Mom. Hey, what's up, guys? And Hillbilly Joe was recently involved, Keith, in a Summerall Slamboree that he pointed in my direction, and it was on Fight TV where he was involved in a tag team match. Hillbilly, you want to tell everybody who didn't see that what went down?
Well, yeah, I was in the tag match with a newcomer that we had come in. Good kid. He's got a good future coming in. Going against one of my rivals, Sam Richards and Van Vicious with their Domination Inc. I'll give just a quick, brief rundown. Did it the last time I was on. Sam Richards was my buddy, my tag team partner, and he turned on me. And then we've been feuding, and then that was just one of our matches for us to have, and it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. It kind of went where he kind of double teamed him and had me distracted, and it went their way. But I settled the score on that soon, though.
My mom chiming in. My husband's from Kentucky, and he said he remembers Rabbit Ear.
Yeah. Well,
So Keith, I did get a chance to go on Fight TV, and I did check out the event. The Bruise Brothers were involved in that event. Keith, you might remember them. They were on Around the Turnbuckle.
I do, of course.
Hillbilly Joe in action, and Keith, I didn't realize the first time we talked to Hillbilly Joe how big Hillbilly Joe is. Not only is he big physically, he's a big man, but he's big down in Mississippi. They love you down there, Hillbilly.
Oh yeah, they love me.
They absolutely do. Yeah,
I mean, their favorites.
Oh yeah, that music starts playing. I think I lost them.
Might be a little freeze there.
Anyway, that I hope. Yeah, if you can hear us, Joe, you're frozen. So if you can go
I think
back,
it's rebooting.
You're good.
I'm sorry, it may be my rabbit ears.
That's very possible. Yeah, I mean nothing.
We're trying to move around.
Sure, and I mean nothing quite hurts in wrestling like a tag partner turning on you, right? I mean that's That's pretty much the ultimate there. Because a tag team, and I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling, so I'll always push tag team wrestling on this show. When you're in a tag team, a true tag team, you guys ride together, you eat together, you go over the match together. I mean, that's like a brother from another mother. So when they turn on you, it's like your brother turns on you and puts the boots to you. Am I correct?
That it does.
All right, so I was watching the match, Keith, and like I said, they love him down there. He come out, man. Like I said, he's a big guy. Hillbilly, can you remind everybody how tall you are?
6'7".
Wow.
I mean, Hulk Hogan was 6'8" at one time. He's not anymore, but he was.
Yeah. Those hip operations.
Yeah, he's right. Knees and hips and all that. But,
Yep.
But man, I tell you what, though, for a guy your size, and you've been doing this quite some time, you moved around well in that ring, I thought. Is he frozen again?
Justin, those rabbit ears.
We had technical difficulties with him. Here he's back. Hey, Joe, you back with us?
Still some difficulties. But, I mean, you're right, Alan. You hit the nail on the head there. I mean, a guy that, the bigger guys, they're impressive. They're great athletes. A lot of physical problems, though. My brother's a big guy, and, I mean, he started to have knee problems in high school. It's tough being a bigger guy because the human body, it can only grow so much.
What'd you say, Joe? See, I think he can see us, but he can't hear us.
Possible.
So I'm thinking. The last time we had Joe on, everybody, we had technical difficulties where we turned it into a phone call thing. And we might have to do that again if we can't get it on there. Joe wanted to talk about possibly coming up here, Keith. He's been wrestling a lot in Mississippi and some other southern states down there his whole entire career. But we've made some friends up here in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and we could possibly point him in that direction to where he could get booked up here.
If we could help a guy get booked, that would be phenomenal.
Absolutely. Can you hear us, Joe? We can't. You can't. I don't think.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to try to do a phone call with him. I really do wish that StreamYard would have a option to have somebody call in the show, because what I absolutely have to do instead is I have to physically call him on my phone, and hopefully everybody can hear what he's saying.
Well, I mean, StreamYard's about streaming, and I feel like, a man who blames his tools. Just saying.
What are you trying to say?
Throwing a little shade. Throwing a little heat.
On me?
No, I would never. I would never. Ah, crap. He knows me too well. He knows I'd do that.
Are you with us, Joe?
Yeah, I'm here now. I can hear y'all now.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to go out, come back in.
Yeah, I mean, if that happens again where you freeze, or if you can't hear us, try to go out and go back in.
I thought we was getting invaded by Star Wars because all I heard was Chewbacca.
Unbelievable. All right, so Joe, talk about what you've been up to, and also talk about your interest in possibly wrestling up here in the Northeast.
Oh, I've been just kicked back. Last night we had our first show back with SWA last night at Myrick, Mississippi, for kicking off our new year this year. It was an awesome show. Had over 300 fans, screaming fans there. It was great. I actually ended my feud with Sam Richards. He was known as Lumberjack, then he turned and he changed, dropped the Lumberjack and wanted to be Sam Richards. That's what he's known for now. Ended my feud with it. I'll put it to you this way: it went the way I wanted to. So,
Good deal.
and then just been hanging out, aggravating my wife and kids and everything else. But I do, well, since I was on the last time, I just finished up yesterday filming with a guy that I'm in a movie with. I'm actually going to be in a movie. It's a Christmas movie. It was me and then a couple more wrestlers with SWA. Joey Treadwick, he just now started to be he's a ring announcer now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a lot of local stuff around here. He's got several movies out that he has directed and he has been in. And I was in that movie, just finished up some of the filmings yesterday. It's a Christmas love story, and it should be out here, I don't know, in a few months, maybe closer to around Christmas time, somewhere around there. It's called Championship Christmas. And you'll see old Hillbilly in that movie. Got a few little speaking spots in it, but other than that, just been focusing on trying to take down old Sam Richards and just chilling.
So what about how are we going to be? Are we going to be able to watch that movie on some?
Yeah, they're trying to get it. From what I understand, they're trying to get it on Hallmark, and there's another. Their production team. I can't remember the name of it, but it's going to be worldwide. I asked him earlier, and I didn't write the name of it down. I forgot about it. Hillbillies, they have short-term memory loss. I
think we lost him again, Keith.
Possible.
You look like you were about to say something though. When
I did want to ask him, since he's in a movie, and he has lines, does that allow him to get a SAG card? Because that would be great for him to be able to get into the SAG union, the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
A lot of great benefits to that. So if there's any possibility he can get that hooked up, he absolutely should. And I would recommend that to any wrestler in a position to be able to do that.
He went out, he went back in. I brought him back in, he went back out again. So I don't know. So Joe, if you can hear us, if you keep having problems, you're more than welcome to call me and we can do this on the phone if we have to. But
absolutely.
You with us again, Joe? Can't hear us. He can see us, but he can't hear us.
Yeah, might have to go to the phone.
Right. And that happens, everybody. Everybody that's watched this show knows that 9 times out of 10 we have a pretty good connection, but interwebs being what they are, sometimes we don't. And
and we certainly appreciate that you guys are still with us, even with all these problems. It means the world to us.
So if you see Joe,
fans and wrestlers alike, it means the world that you guys are that willing to try to do this and work with us through the glitches and all of that.
So, I mean, we got a lot of big things coming up for Around the Turnbuckle. We got a lot of big guests coming up for Around the Turnbuckle. Some familiar faces. Joe, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
You can hear us now. Okay.
Yeah.
So one question I was going to ask, based on having the movie and having lines in the movie, are you going to be able to get your SAG card from this, or have you looked into that?
No, I have not. No, I ain't looked at it. This is just something that he needed some extra help in this movie, and I was like, hey, why not?
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean that's still good. It's promotion.
Oh,
yeah. I was just excited by the prospect that you might be able to get a SAG card, because as an amateur, I mean, I'm a big cinema head. Alan knows that. I love wrestling and I love the movies and everything else. I'm always excited by the ability, for any performer in the wrestling business to be able to branch out and then be able to get that kind of a benefit. It's nothing but great for you guys.
Oh yeah. Now, we talked. Me and him talked a couple of times. He's got another movie that he wants to start filming probably August, September, and he was talking about he's going to use me in it. But Hey, if I can do some extra movies where I can get some extra money to buy some chicken feed and stuff, that always helps.
There you go.
Whatever works, brother. Whatever works.
Yeah, especially with what's going on in the economy now. Anything to get some more chicken feed. I think we're all there.
Oh
All right,
yeah.
so go ahead.
And I'm going to touch up. Now I know you asked another question about if the hillbilly will ever come up there to y'all and wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if y'all will allow a hillbilly to come up there, you know, I'm sure we can work something out.
Listen, like I said before, and I've told you that like we've made some friends up here that could make that happen. I mean, if I showed them, I mean, your sheer size, you're 6'8", and you done wrestled all over down there. I think you'd be a huge hit up here, especially locally with us. Where we go to Quakertown, it's a farming community. They would love Hillbilly Joe. I guarantee you that.
I think
Oh,
so.
yeah.
I think it would work very, very well. And I mean, you know, a prominent person that we're not always on the best of terms with on this show, pal, always says you can't teach being 6'8". You just can't. You know,
Yeah.
that's the kind of guy that you go through an airport, the heads turn and the people stop. And at that point, I mean, if you can actually work, that's gravy, because that 6'8" is always going to get the eyeballs on you. If
Yeah.
you can work after that, now you got a career.
So after the show, Joe, I'm going to give you a name to get in touch with that you know, and the worst thing he could say to you is not interested, but I mean, at the very least, I mean, he would, I would suggest to him that I'm the one that sent you to him, because he knows that Keith and I wouldn't just send anybody. We, you know, I've seen your match. I've seen a bunch of your matches, especially recently, and the Summerall Slamboree and all that stuff. And you're well over with the fans. I guarantee you'd be well over with the fans up here. And a lot of them don't even know who you are, because you wrestle down in Mississippi. They don't, you know, they're in Pennsylvania, but I'll tell you what, they love a good character and a man of your size, and you can move around that ring. If they seen you one time, that wouldn't be the last time you got booked here. I guarantee you.
Yeah, knowing the audiences in that general area, I think would be a good get for you. I think it's a good audience that would be a receptive audience, like what you have in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we're about. We're about trying to help everybody that comes on and, you know, gives us their time, which we appreciate, of course. If we can help you guys out in any way, we absolutely want to do that. That's the mission statement.
Yeah, actually, they do got some other news too. We are now.
Oh, perfect.
We are now starting to have a weekly show on Fight TV. So we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait for 2 weeks, and now it's going to start running weekly. And then we're going to start doing some more stuff on Facebook and stuff like that. But Fight's got us going. Well, there's going to be new episodes every week on Fight TV.
That's fantastic. And if you guys don't know what Fight TV is, it's a free app on any streaming device, on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, whatever you want to do it, on your smart TV. You download the app, and most of the stuff on there is free.
Folks, I'll tell you, I got a DVD player. I have a Blu-ray DVD player here, and I can download apps on that. So if you have a very modern, I'd say within the last year or two, you bought a DVD player or something, check it out. See if it's able to download apps, because it's probably a smart player. You can get the Fight app on that.
And then once you get Fight TV, and it's spelled FITE TV app, you can search wrestling all over the world. But to check out Hillbilly and the SWA guys, just search SWA. I found it right away, and it popped up. Not only did Slamboree pop up, but also the shows that he was talking about, the weekly shows he was talking about, were all on there, or recent SWA events were on there. And we've had some other guys from SWA on there. We've had the Bruise Brothers on here, and it was cool to go back and watch some of your matches, Joe, and watch some of their matches, because it's neat to put, you know, in perspective who we talk to, because a lot of times we don't get a chance. But now with stuff like that, I mean, that's exciting. That's exciting that you're going to be on Fight TV Weekly. That'll be cool because we can check you out whenever we want to.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of our, starting tomorrow night, I think one of our episodes was filmed last night at our return to the wrestling world last night. If I'm not mistaken, I think I read that right.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah, man. So so what else? So what else is going on? Like, what else would you like to, just because the last time we had you on, we talked about how you started in wrestling, how long you've been doing it, all that cool stuff. If you want to remind everybody, how long have you been in the wrestling business?
I've been doing this for probably going on 3.5 years. I got a late start in it, just like DDP.
Right.
And I was like,
but the thing of the matter is, at your age, starting out, 3 years now or whatever, though you seem like you've been doing it for a lot longer than that. You know what I mean?
oh, it feels that way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but I mean, something prompted you, and like I said to Keith and everybody watching, that you are a large guy. You're somebody who, when you look at him, say, man, that guy is what is he? Is he a wrestler? Is he a basketball player? Like, what the heck is he? Because he's a big man. I mean,
Like I say, you got that head turning ability. You've got that in spades.
Yeah.
6'8" is not natural. It's not common.
I would certainly be intimidated if I came face to face with Hillbilly Joe, and then he would smile, and then I'd feel better.
Yeah.
That's true, because you have that too. You have that disarming charm that somebody is going to go, whoa, wait a minute. And then, like Alan just said, and he's right, you smile, that personality you have, that warmth, that ability, you draw people in. You draw people to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Really didn't find anybody that would take me in and train me until I met up with SWA and all. And he took me right in. We trained. He got me training. He said, all right, let's go.
Now, is that something that you feel like might be unique to the South? Because for us, we're in the Northeast, and I always say the Northeast, we're spoiled. We're spoiled for wrestling. We're spoiled for wrestling schools.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in. I mean, wrestling can sometimes be a bubble, and I feel like we're almost a bubble within a bubble, where we have this ability, because I have some friends that I talk to that are wrestling fans that sometimes they comment on the show, sometimes it's a completely separate conversation from the show, and I look at the things they talk about and I'm just like, man, you guys are plugged in, you know what you're talking about, but in a very narrow and limited way. So I'm very interested in asking the question to you, do you think the South is still keeping a little more kayfabe and looking at it a little more old school of like, man, if we're going to break somebody in, they better be worth breaking in. We're not just going to take any Joe Blow that's going to give us their money. We want a guy that we know is going to do something, or a gal that is going to do something. I don't want to sound sexist with that.
No, well, I mean, I can't speak for all the promotions around Mississippi, but I know SWA, they do their best to bring the best of the best in to our shows. And I know at one time, like in the 80s and 70s, wrestling was pretty hot around the South down here. And then it kind of died down a little bit, but it's starting to pick back up. It's starting to get, I know, our shows, it's like normal 300 or so fans sitting in the seats watching us. And I'm not saying we're better than any promotions. They just taking a like to us because we're more focused on kind of old school way, and it's working.
Yeah, because especially in the South, I would think as you know, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but as the WWE, WWF kind of took over and pushed other styles out, I would think that was probably particularly bad in the South because we hear the stories about, you know, Vince McMahon taking over TBS and, you know, fans calling the station and going, God damn, where's my wrestling? This isn't my Crockett or my Southern wrestling. You know, the Southern style really needs to be respected because it is its own unique thing in the wrestling business, and that audience is very particular about what they want, and it really doesn't necessarily work to do sort of a WWE style. You have your fans, obviously, that are happy to see them when they come in, but it's almost like the circus has come to town. It's a little more difficult to do what you guys are doing in SWO, where you're saying, well, we're going to run weekly. We need to draw a house. We've got to give these fans something a little more tailor-made to them, and that's going to be different than what a Vince McMahon does, where it's like, well, the circus comes to town once or twice a year, and you can kind of steal a house with the circuses coming once or twice.
Yep. It's starting to grow down here. It really is. It's starting to pick back up. And now I'm not saying that we run 300 every show we go. It's kind of hit and miss, but normally it's around 200, 100. But in some areas we're a little hotter than the others, and we're working to get hotter in the other areas that we're not so hot in.
So
it sounds like you guys are trying to build a territory. Would that be accurate?
Nah, we just got one of our areas that we run through here, and it's just hit and miss on the crowd.
Okay.
So Big Chris Vance says, being 6'8", how do they set up matches for you? There's not too many opponents that big. I let the matchmaker and promoter handle that. I just do what they say. They tell me this is who you got, this is how we're gonna do it. I let them decide who I'm going to wrestle and all that. I just go out there and have fun and try my best to entertain the fans while I'm out there and give them a good show. Because, you know, I don't think it's really about me. It's all about the fans, because they're coming there paying good money. They're hard-earned money to come out there to watch a wrestling match. And I don't want to disappoint them, because I don't want them to leave and say, well, I just wasted my money to come out there to see Hillbilly, thought he was going to be good. I don't want that. You know, I want them to come, well, we came out here to see Hillbilly, and he gave us a good match. I'm coming back.
Right. He's such a fucking baby face, isn't he, Alan? He's such a quintessential baby face.
Yeah, I mean, his character, you know, you could just tell talking to him. We had him on before. The whole entire thing, like personally, like Hillbilly Joe, just meeting with him and talking to him, it's like he don't have to jump. It's not a far leap from who he really is to who he is in the ring and who he is in front of fans.
Absolutely.
He just goes in, once he gets in goes through that curtain, he just turns the volume way up, and you see him. The banjos are going. He's high-fiving everybody. Keith, it's like, you know, it's a grand old time. As soon as he enters the building, you know, they just get up. Everybody's high-fiving him. Everybody's dancing around, having a good time. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do have a banjo I carry to the ring with me every so often.
I was wondering if you ever actually used it as a weapon, or do you
No, you shouldn't be doing that.
I ain't gonna use it for no weapon.
No, I know.
I'm 6'8". I don't need no weapon.
I was just gonna say that. You're 6'8". If you're using a weapon, I'm gonna get mad at you. You're 6'8". How many people are 6'8"? Don't hurt yourself that way.
Well,
you're the weapon. Your body is the weapon.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially, I mean, I can use 6'8", but I got 300 plus screaming fans out there screaming my name. Those are all my weapons I need right there.
Absolutely.
And I was going to ask you, is it just for show, or can you actually play the banjo?
No, I can't play. Well, if you, I won't say the truth because my wife's probably somewhere around. No, I can't play, but yeah, I can play, but I can't.
So you got any future events coming up that people in your area can come see?
We do. March, I think it's March 19th. We're going to be in Waynesboro, Mississippi. Okay. And then closer to the end of the month, I think we're going to be up in Summit, Mississippi. I don't have my paper with me. I got everything wrote down, and I was like, I was going to have it close by with me, and it's in the other room.
So if anybody's in in your area, you said Waynesboro. What was the other town?
Summit, Mississippi, Macomb, Mississippi, up that way.
Coming up.
I want to say yes, it's on a. I want to say the one that we're going to around Macomb, Mississippi, is going to be a Thursday night.
Right.
This is just a special event that we're doing. We don't normally run on Thursday night. It's just a special thing that come up, and we doing it, and that's why that one. Most of all of ours is on a Saturday night, but this one's just a special event for the college down there.
And that's the promotion that we're speaking of up here in Pennsylvania that I think the fan base would love. Some Hillbilly Joe does a monthly show the last Saturday of every month.
Okay.
And so I'll give you more details after we're done here. But do you watch wrestling? Have you been watching wrestling lately? Anything lately on TV?
I actually went and watched the Royal Rumble. I actually watched it. It was the first actual WWE, any wrestling besides SWA that I've watched in a few years. Not knocking WWE, they're doing their thing, not knocking AEW. That's not my style now. You know, I didn't really care too much for what they're doing. I mean, they're doing great. That's great. But I actually watched the Royal Rumble, was kind of surprised, you know, on some of the things. The only thing I wish they had a little bit more legends come back in or old guys for the men's Royal Rumble. I mean, they brought some, you know, Hall of Fames and all for the women's. I just wish they had it a little bit more for the men's that come in. But
my son had the same complaint.
I mean, it's getting harder though, and I was going to ask you what drew you to this Rumble, saying, you know, you haven't watched in a few years, but it sounds like you answered my question before I asked it, because you were hoping there was some more of those old school guys that you recognize, maybe in the men's Rumble as a surprise, and you were a little disappointed you didn't get that.
That, and of course, rumors are going around. Cody Rhodes was going to show up at the Royal Rumble, and I was like, well, this would be a pretty interesting Royal Rumble then if he actually shows up. That was kind of one reason why I did it, and the second reason, I didn't have anything else to watch.
Well, there you go.
Well, I mean, you know, there's the same rumors are happening for WrestleMania, so we'll see what happens with Cody Rhodes. But
yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if you haven't debuted Cody by now, you probably need to wait until after Mania to fire that bullet.
I can see that. I can see Raw the day after Mania. Maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're not going to build a program for him now, and you've got a month to do it, so it feels like you got to pull the trigger on that later for your next big event.
Yeah.
WWE still builds programs.
Well, I look. You know how I am, Alan. I'm a stupid dreamer that way when it comes to. You know, I think you should have an idea. I think you should build things out a little bit. You shouldn't just sit there and go, oh, this guy's available and I have a pay-per-view next month. Cool, we'll put him on my pay-per-view, even though, you know, everybody in the meeting can stand up and go, yeah, but that pay-per-view is one we do every year. Nobody watches it. Nobody cares. Nobody spends on it. Like, man, make a memory. That's what wrestling is all about to me. Making memories. making that big statement, that big impact.
I have another fan question. Big Chris Vant down in South Carolina. He says, do you have a wrestler that you mentor your wrestling style after?
No, I mean, I don't, not really. I was Undertaker fan.
Yeah.
I mean, Undertaker was, and I mean, there's others, but I really liked Undertaker. But in this business, I was told and was taught a copy, another wrestler really don't get over that well.
Right.
You know, you can take a couple of moves here and there because everybody does, I mean, suplexes, everybody does sidewalk slams, everybody does stunners, everybody does choke slams, you know, and all that.
Right.
But I'll go and watch a few things of old wrestlers, especially like John Studd, like The Undertaker, like Andre the Giant. Some of the bigger guys, I kind of look and see some of their moves and all that, and try to add some of it in if there's a way I can tweak it a little bit and not make it look exactly like the way they do it. You know, I try to do that. But other than that, no. I mean, Undertaker was my favorite. That was him. I mean, of course, you know, all the other legends, you know, but Undertaker was the one that I always watched. It was always WrestleMania.
Yeah, and Taker's ability to, and not to cut you off, Alan, I apologize if I was doing that. Taker, as a big man wrestler, I feel like is one of the most versatile big men there's ever been. You know, I have a book on Andre. It's a very good book. Where there's a lot of stuff with Andre that he could have done earlier in his career that we never saw. Like, he could do drop kicks. Andre the Giant could drop kick at one point in his career. You know, but when we think about a big man wrestler, you guys can almost cheat because with your size and everything else, everything you do has a little more impact because everybody goes, oh shit. Like, you pick a guy up for a choke slam because of your size, your arm length, everything else, everybody can kind of do the math in their head of like, that's a lot different than if I did a choke slam. I mean, I myself am 5'11", you're 6'8". You're then able to lift your arm that much higher. A guy is coming down from probably 8-9 feet in the air.
Well,
it's a lot more impressive. It's a lot more painful physically, you would think.
Even just a straight up body slam is more impactful from a guy his size.
Absolutely. Yes. And Taker could have cheated, but Taker really, as his career went on, did things that a big man normally doesn't do and a big man didn't have to do. And I think that's what is so impressive about Taker, is that he kept adding to his arsenal and he kept doing these things that weren't necessarily what you would think of from a big guy wrestler. So it was even more like impressive that he could jump over the top rope and stuff, because you would be like, he doesn't have to do that. He shouldn't be able to do that. And oh my God, he can do that.
Yeah. No, I said that I wasn't going to be doing all that the Undertaker does. when I was training, and I still consider myself training. You know, I mean, I've been doing this going on 3.5 years now, and I'm still considering myself training, because every time I get in there, I learn something new. And people, when I go to different promotions and all, they'll ask me, well, how long did you train? Well, I trained 8 to 9 months. Oh, that wasn't long enough. But I said, but I'm still training as a now. I said I trained 8 to 9 months, and then I had my first match, but I'm still training. I mean, I never considered myself stop training, because I said if I ever get to the point where I think I don't need to train anymore, it's time for me to get out, because I'm not fulfilling my obligations to these fans out there on putting on a show if I'm in the mindset saying I don't need to train anymore. I've been trained. I done trained. I don't have to go to training anymore. I mean, because that's just hurting myself. That ain't hurting nobody else but myself. And the only way to get better is to train. And we got a group chat that we got with all the wrestlers. Some of the wrestlers with SWA, they just put announcements on there, let us know what's coming up and all that, and we'll talk every once in a while. And I told them, I texted them Friday, put in there Friday afternoon, because my nerves went crazy. My nerves acts up every time I get to a show when it comes up. It don't ease up until I walk out and get to the ring. And I always hit it, because I always felt like it was a bad thing. I was like, that's a bad thing, so I'm not going to say much about it. And I finally just put it in there the other day about it, and they was like, no, that's a good thing. And everybody that told me says, if you ever get to a point where the nerves don't bother you, it's time to get out. Because you don't care about the business anymore. And I feel the same way about training. If you ever get to that point where you don't think you don't need to train anymore because you already mastered all your stuff and all your moves, why do it anymore?
Absolutely.
Yep, and that's the thing. That's great advice to the young guys too that are watching this or will be watching this later. That's why we love having guys like yourself come on here, because when in the midst of telling us how you handle the business, how you embrace the butterflies, how you guys, like you said about training, some of those guys might be new and green and might be like, is this normal? Am I supposed to feel like, I'm going to throw up right now? Or, and I shouldn't, you got to embrace
and they might be thinking,
and
they might be thinking, hey, I shouldn't talk about this, which is kind of where you were. Yeah. So I think you're giving them some courage to be like, hey, let me talk about this with some folks.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, because and I told them, I said, a lot of times too, Friday night, a lot of times I'll go to my matches I'll just turn on Fight TV and go to some of my old matches, and I'll look, and I'm like, ooh, no, that did not look good, that move I did. The night before the wrestling show starts on a Saturday, I'll be sitting there watching my old matches a lot of times and be like, oh, that didn't look good, so I'm not going to do that until I need to work on that when I go in training. I need to work on this when I go in training. If I know a lot of promotions don't have set up where they can do TV, but if there's, anybody, when you go training, you have a phone and you have a way to record you training. You got a phone that somebody can record your matches when you do matches in a show and go back and watch it. Go back, sit down. If you have to, sit down with a veteran and sit down with somebody that's been doing this for years and years and years and be like, hey, I need you. Would you mind watching this with me and tell me what I need to work on? And then you will better yourself.
And the more wrestlers we meet, the more often we hear that exact sentiment where we hear them say, ask questions. When we have 20-year veterans on here, we ask them, what advice would you give the kid that's been in there for 6 months to a year? And then they often say, ask questions. It never hurts to ask questions. There could be those 1 out of 100 guys that just say, get away from me, kid. I'm sure they're out there. But I'm sure most professional wrestlers would spare a couple minutes just to give the kid a little bit of advice. And it's great to see that in the wrestling community. Keith and I watch around the turnbuckle replays all the time just so that to see what I'm doing wrong and what we can do to get better. Same thing.
See, last night I actually did a stunner last night, and I was worried that because I never did one, so I just did a stunner, and my wife recorded it. So when I went back to the locker room, I watched it, and I asked some of the guys that's been doing this a whole lot longer than me, I said, how did this look? They said it looked great. It looked good. You did good. And I felt better about it because I was so down the whole time. And especially right when I was fixing to do it, I was like, I'm not going to do it because I've never did a stunner actually in a show. I did one in training, just training around and just playing with different things, but never did one in front of screaming fans and for on camera recording for TV and all that. But after a few of the guys that I talked to and all that that's been doing this, they said it looked good. It looked great.
So you were worried about nothing.
Yes.
But,
and I do that a lot.
But it's great that you have that, though, because your worst critic is always going to be yourself. And that's why I say that's the beauty of the craft, because we don't have the way it used to be, where it used to be you get in a car with some veterans and they push the seat back and they crush you in the back seat and force you to listen to them tell stories and tell you how to do this better. So you need to be able to get in the back and, like you said, record things and be able to say to these guys, hey, you watched what I just did. Do you think it was good? Because we need that. You can't learn a craft if you don't go to people that know the craft better than you do to give you the advice, the ability to say, yeah, that was great, or no, that's terrible, but here's how you make it better.
So Keith, we have an old friend of the show here saying hi. That's Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. She says, hey, guys, how are you? And Jessica, word has reached my royal ear that you just recently got engaged. Is that true? I just want to know if those rumors are true. Also, and if they are, congratulations. Chris Vant has another question. As a big guy, Hillbilly Joe, is there a wrestler you wrestled not your size, but they gave you a great match anyway, like somebody the size of, like when Mysterio took on The Undertaker once upon a time?
Oh, everybody I go in.
Well, yeah.
And Tinker used to say that too.
I mean, everybody. I mean, the guy that I just ended my feud with, Sam Richards. I'm just a couple of inches taller than him. I mean, I'm not much taller than him.
Right.
And then, our SWA champion right now, Barry Wolf. He's around 6 foot.
Right.
And he gave me some of my best matches every time me and him got in the ring. And everybody I get in the ring with gives me great matches. I mean, can't say that I've been in a match where I had a bad match.
Right.
I mean, there may be some things that I did that I didn't like, but as far as the whole match went, they was all great. I mean, a lot of these guys I get in the ring with, they look at me and they said, you may be 6'8", 6'7", but in my eyes, you're my size.
It is true, Keith. Right now, who it is, though, is not being told, so shh.
Okay.
I got you, Jess. Your secret's safe with me and everybody that watches this show. All right, Hillbilly Joe. So I really hope, Keith, that we get to see this guy live, because what's not to love about Hillbilly Joe?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he has an amazing attitude. Some of the
competition he would have up here that would give him a good, an entertaining match.
I think just about everybody we've seen, and not just in one promotion, but I mean across multiple promotions, we've been really blessed in how much our local promotions have been generous with us to invite us to their shows, to be like, hey, come out, please look at this. We really want your opinion, which I always say is humbling to me because I'm a fan. I'm just a fan. I'm a guy on a podcast that, my co-host here had a vision. Thankfully, he's allowed me to come along every step of the way, and we've done this together. We've built this together, and it is so humbling when wrestler, because I look up to you guys. I do. You guys, like I say, you have a craft. You're doing something amazing. I've never taken a bump in my life, so you guys saying to me you respect my opinion, you respect what I have to say means the world. And it's so great that we're in a position where we can talk to you guys and you guys care about what we have to say. And our
We
opinions
care about,
matter
and
and
we
can
care about what
hopefully.
they do in their careers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hillbilly Joe, I'm gonna name you 3 names that are coming on this program this summer, and I want to know A, if you know who I'm talking about, and B, what do you think of those 3? You ready?
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
The living legend Larry Zbyszko.
Oh, he's a legend. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
I like him. At times when I'm at the house, I'll go back and try, and sometimes I will Google some of his stuff and look and say, all right, let's see what Larry does. Never met him, would love to talk to him, just to get advice from him.
Let me tell you what. When he comes on this show, I want you watching, and I want you asking. I want you picking his brain. I want you asking him questions, because if the fans are watching and they pick his brain, hopefully most of them will be professional wrestlers like yourself. And if they're picking his brain, it makes me and Keith's job easy. We don't have to ask him a thing. If questions keep popping in from wrestlers, I want to get as much questions as I can for that man as possible.
And that's what he wants. I mean, we haven't talked to him directly. We have a connection that has talked to him. And from what we've been assured, Larry wants to come on this show because he wants to talk to the young wrestlers.
He likes the premise of the show, the idea that we
wants to be able to give something back, which is amazing that we can facilitate that. And I have folks that have not watched this show. They're interested in it. They're interested in wrestling. They want me to tell them when Larry is coming on so they can watch that show.
And folks, if you're watching this live or in the replay, I do not have that date yet, but it is this summer. All right, my second name for you.
Locking down schedules, as I always say.
Yes. My second name for you, Hillbilly Joe, is former WCW wrestler Alex Wright, Das Wunderkind. You know who that is?
Name don't register to me right away.
What about Berlin? Does Berlin?
Yeah, he used to wrestle.
He might be a little more familiar as Berlin.
I think I kind of remember it.
So he was a guy that wrestled for WCW. He was the WCW television champion. He was the one half of the WCW tag champions with the Disco Inferno. He has a wrestling school over in Germany. And since we've had a couple of his students on, his students have told them about our show, and he has emailed me directly to be a guest on our show. So I'm excited to talk to Alex Wright. So he's another name. And the third name you might know, and that'd be Barry Horowitz.
Yes.
Barry Horowitz finally got back to me, Keith, and that's news to Keith.
You didn't tell me this.
No, I did not.
He's surprising me with this.
And Barry Horowitz will be on this program this summer. We haven't locked the date down yet, but he's got
we have a pretty super summer going on right now. I think we almost have to name this something. Super summer extravaganza, something here.
Now, if you want to add all that and make this a great summer, Hillbilly will come back on the summer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know you're welcome.
Do it.
You know you're welcome anytime.
I'm nowhere near any of those that you just named.
Yeah, but
I can come on. I can come on this summer if you need me back on this summer, just to add to your great list that you already got coming.
I'll tell you what. The list of I can tell everybody right now the list of wrestlers that we're gonna have just in the month of March and April. I have it right here in front of me, Keith. And
let's do it.
If you're interested in watching some of our future guests, we got today is March the 6th. We got Hillbilly Joe. He's right here. We've been talking to him. And then on March the 13th, we got Mongoose, who is a local legend here in the Lehigh Valley.
And a personal friend of yours.
Personal friend of mine.
I'm excited to meet him.
Mongoose is the man. He had a big following, and he used to wrestle mostly for WXW and the Samoans. You might know who they are. Hillbilly Joe. He wrestled for the Samoans in WXW, but he also wrestled all over New Jersey and PA. On the 20th, we got the return of JT Funk, fresh off his debut on the silver screen. He was in a movie. A local wrestler here in Pennsylvania who actually has now starred in a movie that's going to be available in streaming services soon, I've been told. But it premiered down in the Baltimore area mostly, so it was a local thing. But it's going to be available for me and Keith to check out. So we can't wait.
Yeah, and JT, I was really impressed with JT when he came on here. I've met JT in person. JT has a lot of great ideas about building yourself up, building your brand, being able to really get yourself out there. He has a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement. I think JT is a great guy for other wrestlers, at the level that are trying to get themselves to that next level. He's a great guy to listen to because he has some great ideas. Like, yes, okay, he's still working the local levels, the independents, all that good stuff. But that's a guy that I think has the mindset to do whatever he wants to do. And I think that's a dude that is good to listen to for that. Because, you can steal stuff from him. Like they always say, steal from one guy, it's plagiarism. Steal from a bunch of guys, it's an homage. I think JT is a great guy to listen to.
Let me tell you, Hillbilly Joe, we went to see him live a couple times, and one of the best drop kicks I've ever seen in my life.
Great drop kick.
That kid can do a standing drop kick and look like he's kicking you almost on the top of your head. That's just standing in front of you. That's how high his vertical is. But anyway,
great
JT
guy.
Funk will be returning here on March the 20th. Then on Sunday, March the 27th, we visit our old pal JT Cage. On April the 3rd,
we should perhaps point out that sometimes the views of JT Cage are not necessarily the views of it around the turnbuckle.
I wasn't worried about that. I was just trying to get through the list.
WrestleMania
38 is on April the 3rd, so we will not have a show that day. We're not going to interfere with WrestleMania 38. On April the 10th, we got a gentleman by the name of Tyler Blaze. On April the 17th, on Easter Sunday, we have local favorites Tony Cini and Francesca.
Very excited for that.
Yes,
I am very high on Tony and Francesca.
That is Easter Sunday. Tony Cini and Francesca will be here. And our old friend Thundercat will be here the following week after Easter. That's the 24th of April. Thundercat returns to Around the Turnbuckle.
One of the great guys in the business.
Yes. On May the 1st, we have Damian Wayne is back with us, a former guest on Around the Turnbuckle. And I have booked up to May 8th. We have a gentleman by the name of Ace Dallas. Now, everybody watching here, I just gave you a list that goes all the way up to May 8th. But if you are interested in being on this program, and Hillbilly Joe, if there's anybody in SWA that hasn't been on before, because I know Reggie and the Bruise Brothers want to come back on here someday soon, and we would love to have them, believe me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you know anybody else that has not been on our program and wants to come on and tell their story to us, let them know that we are taking bookings throughout the month of May, the rest of the Sundays in May, but we are booked from now. And that's amazing, though. That's the furthest ahead I've ever been booked, all the way up to May 8th. That's pretty crazy.
And Alan, being booked to May, I think May, if I'm not mistaken, is our second anniversary with this show.
It absolutely is. May 8th will be our second year anniversary, Hillbilly Joe. And so we'll do something. I haven't thought of anything yet, but we'll do something spectacular for that as well. Possibly, Keith, we might do 2 shows that day because because we already have an interview scheduled that day. Maybe we'll do one a little earlier in the day to celebrate the 2-year anniversary and maybe have a few other people on here.
Absolutely. I mean, what a fantastic thing.
Have to find a way to celebrate that. It's amazing, Jessica. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're right, Jessica. I'm humbled that we're everything we've accomplished in just 2 years. It's humbling.
Now, I do want to say,
Go ahead.
And want to say one thing. I really appreciate everything y'all do, because it's guys like y'all that helps guys like us to get our name out there. Because there's a lot of times, there's a lot of times that guys like me down here in Mississippi, there may be a promoter looking for somebody. Hey, I'm looking for a guy to come in here that's a hillbilly, or something like that to come to my promotion. It's guys like you that helps us, and I really appreciate that.
That is truly. I appreciate those words.
Yeah.
And it's truly humbling to me that we have anything to do with the wrestling business that has entertained us for decades. In Keith's case, it's been 30 years. In my case, it's been 40 years of entertainment on TV, on pay-per-views. I've bought tickets to countless events. I've been to 3 WrestleManias. But getting involved with the local scene, getting involved with independent wrestling as a whole, all over the country, it's so great. I mean, one week we're talking to a guy in Indiana, and then we're talking to a guy in Texas, and now yourself, sir, in Mississippi. It's amazing how much wrestling is out there to be had. And if you're within the sound of our voices right now and you can't find wrestling in your area, you're not looking hard enough, because
You aren't.
I mean, I'm not even in my hometown right now. I am visiting my mother. I'm in my mother's house right now, and there's wrestling in her town that, she sees posters for all the time. She just told me at dinner. So, listen, believe me, there's wrestling to be had. You can find it in your hometown. And Hillbilly Joe, if you're down in Mississippi, is a small car ride away, one weekend or another. Just check out. Where can they check out your events, Hillbilly Joe? On SWA Facebook page?
You got SWA Promotion on Facebook. You can look up Hillbilly Joe on Facebook. I'll post everything as soon as I find out about it, and SWA releases their dates on their page. I'll turn right around and I'll put it on my page. You can look up there. You can look any if you know any of the wrestlers that is with SWA. A lot of times they'll share it on their post too.
Yep.
It's not hard to find. Just gotta look on Facebook. And
you can also look on Fight TV to see all their past stuff, all the stuff that they've done. A lot of it is recent, but there is stuff that they've done like last year, the year before, or whatever. So each and every event is different. They do a lot of their events, and a lot of your events are done in Summerall, right? Mostly.
Well, we do around the whole the Pine Belt area. I mean, we go all over through south around our area here. We do a lot of shows for fundraisers for nonprofit organizations. Every once in a while, we'll throw a show for ourselves, but a lot of it is for local schools and nonprofit organizations. That's what we do. But you can find anything on SWA on Fight. I mean, if you watch Fight TV, they'll throw Fight TV will throw up some of our dates. And if you are in Mississippi, we are on local channels too down here in Mississippi, and they'll run during our time on TV. They'll run when our next event's going to be. Facebook. I'm actually got a TikTok page on TikTok, Hillbilly Joe 82. I'll throw some stuff on there every once in a while.
I can only imagine what a Hillbilly Joe TikTok video looks like, Keith.
Yeah. But that's good. TikTok, the kids love the TikTok. I know.
Oh, my word. All right, Hillbilly, we've done used
I'm old, I don't understand it, but
used you up for a whole hour. So we're gonna get off here, but I don't want you to go anywhere when we go off the air, okay?
All right.
I wanna throw those names at you.
Okay.
But everybody watching there, I hope you enjoyed yourselves tonight. I hope you enjoyed Hillbilly Joe. I hope you enjoyed the Professor. I'm the Big Albowski. Tomorrow night on this very channel, we have Home Team Sports returning with the boys. They're back in town. Big Chris Vant, Cousin Phil, Anthony Joseph will be on tomorrow night for some sports. Also, next Saturday. No, I was right the first time, Keith. Next Sunday.
I was gonna say, are we doing stuff on Saturday? You can tell me about it.
Next Sunday at 6 p.m., we will be 1-on-1 with the Mongoose. Goosemania is going to be running wild once again.
I'm excited for this.
Oh, a lot of people are excited. I know certain Mr. Brickhouse is excited. And a big shout out to everybody involved there, and a big shout out to Mongoose because I know you're watching. I can't wait to sit down and talk shop with you, Michael, because I remember you when you first got into the business. I was just as excited because I was 20 years younger, and you got into the business, and you had aspirations of getting into WWE. And one thing or another led to another. You just ended up being a huge independent star in the Lehigh Valley area, and I can't wait to hear all the stories. An hour's not going to be enough with the Mongoose. But anyway, that's next week on Around the Turnbuckle. This was this week on Around the Turnbuckle. He's Hillbilly Joe. I'm Professor Keith.
Are you Professor Keith? I thought I was Professor Keith.
So excited. I'm so excited. We got so much coming on Around the Turnbuckle.
I know you want to be me, but I think I'm still me.
Thank you, Chris Vant. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for everybody chiming in. For Hillbilly Joe and the Professor, I'm the Big Albowski, and we're out of here. We'll see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is for one fall.